Hopefully, if you are watching this back, there's nobody in here yet. But hopefully, if you're watching this back, you've had a good weekend, enjoyed your Saturday and Sunday. Today, the plan is to clean as many shoes as I can in about an hour. I like that hour time frame for cleaning shoes on live because typically it takes me about 40 minutes to clean my typical batch that I need to. So I give myself a little bit of leeway. Today I've already done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I need 9 more for this batch, and then I'm going to try and do another 20. So we're going to try and do 29 pairs today. Hopefully you guys, if you're watching this back on YouTube or on Facebook, if you wouldn't mind leaving me a like or a subscription or subscribe on YouTube, I would really appreciate that. But for now, we're just going to start cleaning shoes. And when people pop in, they pop in, and that is great for me too. But in the meantime of me doing that, I'm going to show the camera down here so that way y'all can actually see what I'm doing with the shoes. Be like a little ASMR session for a little bit until people start popping in. But most of these shoes, in this batch at least, are pretty clean, so I'm just doing little once-overs on them. But in the meantime of there not being anybody in here, I will just kind of just chill out and clean shoes. And for a little bit, you can just watch it. I will just kind of talk over the top of it, I guess. Thank you for your comments about shoes. It's definitely helped me personally. Oh, you are definitely welcome. Hopefully it's a little helpful. I'm trying to do more and more content this weekend. We got a little busy with other things, so there will be more content this week, I promise. So I apologize there wasn't anything over the weekend. But you've got this live today. So if you're interested about cleaning or how to clean shoes, what to do, stuff like that, hopefully this live helps a little bit. Shows some examples of how I clean shoes every day. It appears that this batch is better than some of the other batches that I have, just in terms of cleanliness. Good morning, Bobby. It's all YouTube today. What's up, everybody? But yeah, hopefully the cleaning lives help. So even if you're not able to watch this now, but if you want to watch it back, you can either watch it or you can use it kind of as like a podcast in a way to like as you're working or stuff. Sometimes I like watching people live, even if like there's not stuff that I sell, just to see what they sold or whatever they're doing. I like watching it more as like a podcast. But if y'all have questions this morning, just let me know. We actually had a really good sales weekend this weekend. I think we did. I might pull out Nifty actually in a second after I clean these, just to see what I did. Yesterday, I know I did like $1,700 in sales, I think, and then the day before was $1,800, and then I think Friday was like $1,800 as well. So we had a good sales weekend. It's weird. A lot of people are saying that their sales aren't great right now. I feel my sales are probably the best they've ever been. So I'm interested to see what y'all's sales were over the weekend, if you sell, or if you're just sitting here and you found this stream randomly and you just want to learn how to clean shoes, that's okay too. Clean on personal pairs and stuff like that. Everything I use is in the, so I think for YouTube it'll be in the live stream description. Like if you go onto the actual live stream and you look in the description, all the stuff that I use is in that link. And then on Facebook, it's on the post. So if you have a question of where I get all that stuff, it's all on Amazon. But most of this stuff is pretty clean. So I'm not having to scrub very hard. It's just getting a little dust and dirt fixed and sorted. But like, that's like my favorite type of cleaning, is, and you don't have to clean it all that much, and then your cleaning time goes down significantly because the item's are already pretty clean to begin with, and you're just doing a little once over with them. But that looks a lot better. Not as dusty on the sides. Will look better in the photos. I think we're all caught up on the chat, so hopefully y'all are doing well. Otherwise, I'm just gonna sit here and clean shoes. But the biggest thing that I have seen over the last couple weeks in terms of why, obviously, we're cleaning shoes, which I then will list them and sell them. So I'm going to talk about that as well. But the biggest thing for me, which I've seen do well, is listing every day and not missing a day of listing. I can definitely tell the week that I don't list every single day. I can definitely tell for that next week it affects sales pretty heavily. So I'm like 2 weeks in now of not missing a day. I think I missed a day like the second week of the Sunday of the second week of February, and then I didn't miss a day from there, and I can definitely tell a difference. So my goal is to get ahead. So like today I'm doing today's listings and tomorrow's listings. So that way, if I have a day where I'm slower or I have other things to do, stuff is pre-drafted. So if I miss a day, then I'm like a day ahead, if that makes sense. But I feel like taking the time, whether it's 5 listings, 10 listings, but drafting them out really helps. Because say you get busy in a day, you got kids, you got an event, you got something where you are struggling to get stuff done, having pre-drafts, even if you're not going to do it immediately, but it's something you're willing to draft and let it sit until you do it, I think drafting is huge because it gives people an option, or it gives you an option to save it for a future time where you don't have to do it immediately. But that's just my opinion. You list weekends also, or Monday to Friday? Nope, I list every single day. So I list Monday through Sunday. But I don't work on the weekends, Bobby. So great question. Let's see if I can pull that up. So the biggest thing is I try and only work Monday through Friday. Yesterday was an exception. I didn't work Saturday, but I didn't get all of my listings done prepped for all of the weekends. So I had it done for Friday, Saturday, and I just had to come in and for like an hour or so and do the Sunday listings. It wasn't terribly difficult, but it's not something I love doing. I try, like this week, I'm going to try and get ahead. So like today, I'm going to attempt to do, I'm already on the process of it, but I'm going to do today's listings and tomorrow's listings. And then tomorrow I'm going to do Wednesday's listings. And then Wednesday, I'll do Thursdays. And then Thursday, I will do Friday and Saturdays. And then Friday, I'm going to try and do Sunday, Monday. That's my goal. I like getting ahead. Just purely for, like I was saying, like in case something happens, something like that, I like just having it, knowing the fact that it's going to list, and I don't have to worry about that. And I know a lot of people will have different theories on listings and algorithms and stuff like that, but just I'm talking purely my experience in these last 2 months for the new year. I'm feeling like listing consistently has been really helping my stores across every platform. Like crazy enough, Depop and Poshmark sold the same amount of shoes over the weekend. So I think I sold 14 on Poshmark, and I think I sold like 13 or 14 on Depop. So, and then I sold 27 pairs on eBay, 26, 27 pairs on eBay. So, like super consistent across the board. Obviously, Depop and Poshmark are much less than eBay. How many do you list each day? Great question. So I list 20 a day. So today, like what I'm doing is cleaning live. I'm doing batches of 20. So I've actually already done 11 pairs before the live, and then I decided to hop on live so that way you guys could see it. But my goal is to have batches of 20. So I list 20 every single day, so that that doesn't change. So I won't do more or less. I would love to do more. It's just finding more shoes is the problem right now, which is a good problem, but it's a problem that I'm trying to solve. But right now I'm doing 20 a day. So that's on a month that has either 30 or 31 days other than last month. It's around 600 listings a month. So that's the goal. Having boundaries around your resale business is very important from all aspects of your life. I agree. For the first couple years of me doing this full time, I didn't have boundaries because I was trying to build it. And now I do my best to take at least one day off. So whether that's Saturday or Sunday, or both, that's my goal. I try and work throughout the weekends. Like I definitely could, like obviously this job, if I didn't want to work, I didn't have to, right? But I kind of enjoy working. It gives me like I said, I've said it many times in the past. If you've been here at all for any period of time, I have ADHD, so having that and having this job is tricky because I could just not work and it could be fine, but it kind of keeps my ADHD in check almost, if that makes sense. Knowing that I've got a task every single day and it keeps me focused when I'm struggling to focus, if that makes sense. So the boundaries and all that stuff, it definitely is helpful for sure. But like I said, great example. So I'm using this Doc Martens Wonder Blossom. These look so good now. These look much better. So this isn't like magic. I think it's magic, but it gets rid of like so many scuffs and stuff like that, or at least makes it look better. But like that is a very clean pair of dress shoes. So yeah, a little bit of backstory, I guess. But that's my biggest thing, is just trying to stay consistent on like one. I think this job helps me stay consistent in multiple avenues more than just anything. But the biggest thing that this job helps me stay consistent with is like I have the same thing to do every single day in a way. So there's different, like, of course, it's not going to be the exact same thing, but like some days I'll clean. So like today I'm cleaning 2 sets of stuff, but like pretty much every single day of the week I'm cleaning something. So that gives me something to look forward to or regret, depending on my sourcing. But like if I do a good job on the sourcing, then it makes my cleaning easier. So it's like, because I am the only person that runs or is in this business, I can basically control a lot of the variables. So if I don't do a good job sourcing, it's going to take me a lot longer cleaning and stuff like that. So, but this week, other than the stuff I did yesterday was probably the dirtiest stuff that I had, which is okay. It took me a little bit longer than usual, but this batch has been very clean. This batch of 20 has been very clean, which is meant that I do not have to do a lot of cleaning on them, which is super awesome. So we got 2 more pairs after this one left in this batch, and then we got another 20. So hopefully we are 12 minutes in. So hopefully the live is going well, that you can see everything. Do y'all prefer this angle? Do you prefer it so I can do it a little bit further down so that way you're seeing it, or I can do it a little bit more this way? Which do you prefer? Because I don't mind. I'm just trying to, like, I don't need you to see my face. Obviously, you're here to look at how shoes are cleaned. But I want to make sure that I'm doing this in a way that y'all can see it well. I think it's good though. I think this is good, so that way you guys can see the shoe, basically every angle that I can't show normally. But having the computer is very helpful, I will say, because it makes me be cognizant of what y'all can see. All right. This brand is typically known to be very hard to clean. So, like, the sole will leave a lot of, like, stains in the midsole. So you just have to be careful with what texture and what you're using and the power and all that. Some of these, like, you can rub pretty good on the midsole, but some shoes, some models, some brands, you have to be very careful about what you put on the leather, what you put on stuff like that. So if you ever have a question about that, I'm always happy to help. I have a bunch of people message me all the time about, like, how do I clean this specific pair of shoes? Like, I don't mind those questions at all. I try my best to help. This is fine. Thank you. Cool. Glad I can be helpful. All right. So there's a couple more people in here than there was before. So there's about 17 of y'all in here. How was your sales over the weekend? Doesn't have to, obviously. I know that the majority of people in here probably do not sell shoes full time. But if you sell a resale business, or how was your weekend? What'd you do? Something like that. Because I love like hearing. It doesn't always you don't have to share numbers unless you just want to. But I love hearing about people's business and how they're doing and stuff like that. I like being people's cheerleaders. So, if you're just joining, the question of the day is how was your sales slash how was your weekend? Nothing crazy. I'm not trying to ask too much personal information. I just want to know how your weekend was. Bad. Only 13 sales. Hey, it's 13 more sales than 0, right? 13 more sales than 0. I think there's different, like we were talking about a couple lives ago, there's different types of things where it could be like, oh yeah, I had 13 sales, but then each sale was like $100. So you're making $1,300. That's great. But if you sell clothing and then that's not that high price, yeah, 13 sales might not be the best. But here's the good thing about that, right? You got all of this week to make it up. I will say something that when I first started, I was always concerned about every single day. And why my sales sucked on like one day and then they were pretty good on another. I don't think that's fair, because you could walk into a store and their sales suck on one day and then they have a super sale and it's like $10,000 on another. So obviously I know I asked about how your sales were this weekend in particular, but make sure you zoom out when you're looking at your sales and not just go day to day, because your sales overall might be really good or pretty good or whatever. But if you look at one day that had a rough day, that's not going to be helpful for your mental game about reselling, because there can be days where you don't get a lot of sales. Those do happen. Oh, we got a bunch of comments. That's what I needed to ask. It was much better than the last 2 weekends ago. Gotcha. Average 14 across all platforms. Let's go. All right. So in that, I know there's a bunch of people that answered stuff. What was your best sale? Total. Not total, but like what was your best sale or your favorite sale? Sold a Coogee sweater for $150. I'm pretty new seller and just selling stuff from home. That's awesome, Lisa. Hey, $150 for a Coogee sweater? That's pretty good. That's pretty good to me. I would love to sell stuff for $150 all the time. What are you? Sorry, I only do clothes. Sophia. My store has 91 items I sold for this weekend. So for me, that's awesome. Hey, so we did the math on it. Sirs and I had the math on it, and I'm sure you've heard him say it before. But if you sell a 1/10 of your store, it is considered excellent. So, like, for example, I have 1,400 listings, right about. So my goal every single day is to sell over 14 pairs a day, right? That's considered excellent. Now, obviously, there's some days that are less, but 91, that's a very different. Let me just be very clear. If you've got under 100, that 10% doesn't count. It's like 5%. If you sell 4, 5, 6 items on a 91 store, that's amazing. All right. So well done, Sophia. What are you putting on the bottom of the shoe with the black marker? It was a Sharpie. Where'd it go? I lost the Sharpie. Where did I put the Sharpie? That's funny. Oh, there it is. It's just a Sharpie. It's just they've got marks on the bottom, like a number on the bottom of them. So I just write a Sharpie over it. I could have put acetone on it, but it was just a Sharpie. That was it. All right. Look at that. That's pretty good if you ask me. Good morning. Have you shared what shoe trees you use? Yes, I have, Donna. Great question. These shoe trees that I use are in the Amazon link in the top of this Facebook post. So what we're live streaming on right now, there should be a link attached to the top of the post, and that is where I get my shoe trees from. So hopefully that answers that question. But yes, they're in the Amazon storefront that I have. So if you go in there, I get a little bit of a kickback. I had an offer for $6 for a vintage Tintin set that has been posted for 2.5 weeks, and within an hour, I had someone pay full asking price. I hadn't even had the chance to decline it yet. That is the best. Danette, good morning, Danette. How do you clean stains off of mesh and fabric uppers? I washed a pair of Hokas in the advanced spray that you recommended, plus OxiClean, but still a few spots on the uppers. If you cannot get out some stains, do you list the shoes and disclose? Yes, I disclose it. So I do my best to get the stains out. Obviously, there are some times where the stains are just too bad, and then I'll just list it for, so say a normal pair sells for $59, I just list it at $49 and just disclose the stains. I sell shoes first. If I can find them, love it. But I sell purses, denim, men's and women's shirts, some dresses. I am full-time. Poshmark was my favorite. Then my new owner took over. Gotcha. Yeah. Poshmark, truthfully, has never been insane for me because I sell a lot more men's shoes than I do women's shoes. I think I would probably do better on Poshmark if I sold more women's shoes, truthfully. But I do get pretty good sales on Poshmark. But I think I would do even better if I had more women's shoes. Good morning, Faith. How are you? See, that's what I needed to ask. I had a whole bunch of comments come in randomly once I asked questions. Rouse sold a $115 Oxford suit. Ooh, that sounds nice. I did not sell an Oxford suit. What was my best sale for the weekend? I guess I probably should answer my own question. I sold a pair of golf shoes again for $125. That was great. Just so that way I'll show. But I'm just putting a Sharpie. There was a price on the bottom, so I just put a Sharpie over it. People ask, they'll be like, what's that? I'm just say it's a Sharpie mark, and then they don't care. Because, like I said, who's looking at the bottom of your shoe? Nobody. I think I think the best sale that I had was $125 for pair of golf shoes. No, I lied. I sold a pair of boots for $210. So that was good. And then I think the second best one was the golf shoes for $125. Then I sold a pair of Nike Air Maxes for $100. I sold a pair of Jordans for $90. Trying to think of anything else that I sold. I already shipped everything out today. What else did I sell? I'm having trouble thinking of what I sold today. I had a Depop bundle, which never happens, but I sold a pair of boots and a pair of Pumas, which was a very random combination for $90. So yeah, that was good. All right, this is the last pair of this bundle of 20. I say bundle. I put them in boxes, as you all know, the little Costco storage boxes. So there's 20 in a box that fit in a box for me. So this is the last one of this one. Like I said, we're going to go for an hour. So I got another 40 minutes left. I would love to, if I can get that 40 minutes done and get 20 done, that would be awesome. So we're gonna grind cleaning together. So if you're cleaning shoes or if you're listing or whatever, I appreciate y'all hanging out. Hopefully, like I said earlier, hopefully this is like a podcast for y'all. So y'all can kind of work and do this at the same time. But it also doesn't hurt asking me questions at the same time so I can answer while I'm talking. All right. So we've got this bundle or this bundle. Which do I want to do? They're about the same, I think. This one might be a little bit better. I'm trying to think of like what would be best for people's viewing. This has a pair of boots, or 2 pairs of boots in them. All right, here, I'll ask the question. Would you rather, we've got 20-ish people in here. Would you rather me clean shoes that are just running shoes? Like that's 99% of it will just be running shoes and or golf shoes, and then there's some like nicer sneakers or whatever. Or I have one that's golf cleats, boots, and then some running shoes and some other casual shoes. But that's my question. Which would you rather? Because I have either, so I can do one or the other. So this one right there, that's all stuff that I'm going to be putting in the wash. I was going to show you. But let me know what you would rather see, because I can do the boots or I can do just normal shoes. Oh, we have a bunch of questions. Thank you for asking. What eBay store level are you paying for? Whatever the one is that's not like insane. It's like $60 a month. I don't know what that totals out to. I think it's like 700 something dollars a year. But it's whatever this, it's like the, I don't know what the, it's not the basic one. It's not, it's whatever the, I think it's the middle one. Whatever is like the $60 a month one is. But that's because I have over, I think it's like 1,400 to 1,500 listings where it's perfect for. That's what I have. What kind of brush do you use for this? So this is literally, it says cleaning brush. You can get these on Amazon. They're like cleaning kits. I genuinely don't know. So I either use one of the two. So I'll either use the Wave Enforcer, which is literally meant for hair. That works great for me. Or I'll use this cleaning brush. You can get either on Amazon. I don't have any links just because they're super cheap. But I just use that. Assorted. Ralph says assorted. Do you ever buy sneakers with yellow midsoles? Sometimes. It has to be worth a lot of money for me to do that. But I try not to. All right. The assorted one has been chosen. So we will do that. Ralph has chosen the assorted one. It does not bother me. Whichever one, they will still be cleaned anyways. But we will go with the assorted one. We'll start with Cole Huns. Do you clean the inside of shoes? And no. But to be fair, I also don't pick up shoes that have a bunch of crap on the inside of it. So if it's like nasty, if it's something that I can use a lint roller on, like if it's got a little bit of dog hair or something like that, and I can get it out, I'll do that. But no, I do not clean the inside of the shoes. The brushes are in your Facebook Amazon link. Well, even better. Thank you, Danette. See, I did do my due diligence and I linked them. But yeah, the brushes that I use, I'm pretty sure are in the, I would assume they were in the Amazon link. See, this is why it's the best when I have people that stay here consistently and then they can help me with my Amazon stuff. Because I forget. Because I have a whole bunch of links in the Amazon thing. So it's got stuff for my shipping stuff. It's got my photography set up. And then we have the cleaning stuff, obviously. If the laces are dirty, do you replace them? No. Typically, people like keeping the original laces. If I wash them, like if I wash the shoes, the laces will automatically get cleaned when that happens. But I try and show every angle so people will see that the laces are dirty. They can do their own washing of the laces. But like I said, if the shoe's like insanely dirty, I won't even pick it up anyways. Most of the time I'm picking up pretty clean items, and the only stuff that I'm actually cleaning is the stuff on the bottom. These colons are nice. I think, yeah, we're caught up. My biggest challenge learning this whole new to live thing again is catching up and how far behind when I say stuff is. Like when I say something, how far behind you guys are hearing it. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because there'll be some times where I'm like sitting there waiting for an answer, but y'all probably haven't even heard it for another like 20 seconds. So, do you store your shoes with the shoe trees in them? No. So the only reason why I have shoe trees in them is to take photos, and then I take them out and then put them right back underneath. Because otherwise, I would have 1,400 pairs of shoe trees, and I ain't doing that. That's too much. Do you sell Vans? Not. I try not to. Unless they are perfect and or a collaboration that sells for a lot of money. No, they don't sell quickly, and I don't think that there's a lot of interest in Vans right now, Shannon. So I try not to pick them up. If I do, it's for like a specific reason. I find them cheap, or I bought, so like all the Vans that I have now, in the store, or in my store, they're all listed cheaper than what I would normally list a pair of shoes at to get rid of them, because I'm tired of having them. Because there was a point where I was picking them up and they were selling quickly, and then they stopped selling. So no, I don't pick up Vans. Long story, but yes, I don't pick up Vans anymore unless they're a collab that sells for a good amount of money, or they were cheap and I can sell them quickly. They have a good sell-through rate or something like that. Yeah, these golf shoes, I will say, golf shoes, I love selling golf shoes because they sell for good money and they sell quickly, in my experience, as long as they're a good model. But getting the grasp out of the cleat part is tough. Sometimes you can't do anything about it. Most of the time, though, you can grab a piece and then it'll all come out. But these are tricky because they've got no wiggle room in between. That's why it's helpful to have a brush, because sometimes you can just brush it out. Sometimes you can't, but these are not ready. Back is dirty. Now it's clean. What sourcing is there sizes you target? What when sourcing? Sorry, I read that so wrong, Ralph. My bad. When sourcing, is there sizes you target and avoid? I avoid anything like 16 and above, truthfully. For men's, there are some times that I'll pick up an 18, but it's got to be like a rare pair of shoes that I won't pick up basketball shoes that are size 18. Just because they take forever to sell and the amount of people that are size 18 and above isn't great. There's some other models that I'll pick up in an 18. But I try and stay away from big sizes, that like 16, 17, and 18 sizes. There's some that I'm willing to pick up, but not all. And then smaller sizes for women's, like anything a women's 5.5 and under, I try and stay away from. There are sometimes, like I said, there's some exceptions where I find them for cheap and I'm willing to sit on them for a little bit or a long time or whatever, but that's very rare. Question right here. Are you focused more on STR rates to flip quickly, or are you focused more on a higher profit that will sit for a while? Great question. That is a really good question. It depends on the item. For example, technically, and this is going to be very weirdly phrased, so I apologize. Technically, anything can have a high sell-through rate, right? You got items listing at 40, you could sell it at 20. Technically, that item's going to sell before the other ones. But my goal is to get overall. Not every single pair can get that $26 to $27 in profit, which is my aim. I love to be that 26, 27, 28 level of pricing or level of profit. So I'm willing to sit on some stuff, but I'm also willing to sell some stuff quicker so that way I get my money back and I don't make all of that. So sometimes I'll make like $18 or $19 in profit. But if I do that 7 or 8 times in a day and then I have a couple really big sales, I'm fine with that. I don't really care. I look for high sell-through rate items just purely because I like selling things quickly. But to be honest, and this is just because I've been selling for a long time, I probably, like on a day of sourcing, I'll probably look up like 10 or 12 items in a day, just because I know a lot of brands that sell and I've sold so many of them and I'm finding a lot of similar items. So I know the models, I know the new models and stuff like that. So I don't have to look stuff up. Mainly it's just like certain colorways sell for more. So if I'm looking it up, that's kind of why. But yeah, I don't know if that was a good answer to that question or not. But I kind of do a little bit of both. So sometimes I'm willing to sit on stuff if I want to make a little bit higher of a profit. Typically, that's me with boots more than anything. I'm willing to sit on them for a little bit, knowing that I'm going to get a higher profit. But sometimes I would like to just sell them and just go through them quickly. So that's that STR, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. These boots are dirty. But these like rubber seems to do really well with the white erase marker. I don't know if you can tell on that side there. It cleaned out really well. So you can see how dirty it is on that side, but like once over, it looks so much better. But like on average, I'm able to clean these pretty quickly. The rubber boots are a lot easier to clean than leather, just because I can use a white erase marker a little bit more frequently, if that makes sense. And then you got to do some little touch-ups because sometimes you miss stuff, and that's okay. But you're never going to be perfect. It's never going to go completely back to new. But my goal is to make it as clean as possible. So, like I said, there's the bottom. The goal is to make it look clean, but it's not going to be perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But if it looks cleaner than what it just did, I'll take it. I know there will be people that sit there for 7 minutes trying to clean the bottom so that way they look perfect. My goal is to make it look as good as possible in about a minute. See? Difference between those two. Let's see. A lot better, right? So it takes a little bit more time, but I don't mind that, knowing the fact that these will make me a little bit more money in the long run because I clean them. All right, good question. What made you decide on shoes versus clothes versus hard good? Good question. Thank you, Faith, for all your questions. Truthfully, I just didn't like clothes. I did clothes for a while. Storing them is actually a lot easier than shoes. You can put a lot more in those boxes that I have. So I tried when I was in college, and I just didn't like measuring it, and I felt like my returns were a lot higher. Maybe that was just my experience with it. So like if I find a clothing item that I've seen Wayne say something about, or Brad or somebody that I've seen go, hey, this clothing sells, and I can get it at a good price, I don't mind picking up clothing. And I also don't mind picking up hard goods if it's not, I know it's something I'm not going to get a return for instantly. So I just try and stay away from electronics and stuff like that. But I sold a Millennium Falcon. I love Star Wars, so I paid $5 for a Millennium Falcon that was from 2008 or something like that. It was apparently pretty rare. It was massive, and I had to ship it. But I paid $5 for it, and I sold it for $200. And I was like, oh, that's not so bad. So I don't mind finding hard goods and stuff like that, but it's not something that I go searching for. Just storage wise, shoes is hard as for itself, and then clothing is not a problem. So if I get clothing, that doesn't bother me. But yeah, that's kind of my reasoning why. Do you ever throw shoes in the washer and soak them? You make it look so easy. Yeah. So all of this, I don't know if you can see that back there, but that whole pile right there that's in an IKEA bag, that all is, as soon as I'm finished the live, that is all going in the wash. So I'll take out the insoles. I'll leave the laces in, take out the insoles, and then spray them with that action spray that I have in my bio, or in the Amazon link. And then I'll run them in the wash with a towel or two, depending on how many are in there. Usually I put 2 towels in there. And then, there are times that I do put it in the wash, but you have to be very specific which ones you can and you can't. Because some shoes you can definitely not put in the washer. Some shoes, they're meant to go in the washer. So, but that's a great question. Yes, I do. There's probably about 14 pairs in there. So it's going to be 2 loads. So I try and do 7 or 8 pairs in a load. That's going to be 2 loads that I'm able to do. And then I try and also do it either while I'm cleaning. Right now I would do a load, but it's pretty loud. Even though it's in the other room and I close the door, it's still pretty loud because it's shoes banging around. But as soon as I end the live, I'll probably put a load in there. And then while I'm taking pictures, it'll do at least, I'll have the photos done, and then I can do the next load after. And then they'll dry overnight, and then tomorrow I can go ahead and make sure if there's any stains or anything that I need to clean up the midsole or something like that, then that's when I'll go through those pairs as well. But I was thinking about it today. I might try and clean 3 days ahead. I'm a little bit ahead of schedule today. I've already shipped. I've already gone and done my workout. Did my quiet time already today. What else have I done? I've done my spreadsheet already. So the only thing that truthfully I need to do, like the only thing I really need to do today, like need to do, is I just need to list for today, right? So technically, all the stuff that I've already done earlier, I just have to take so it takes me like 20 minutes to take all the photos for each of the items, for 20 items. So it takes me 20 minutes, and then it takes me like 25 to 30 minutes to do my listings. So I could be done before 11. So I could do it, but I might try and get maybe 10 more done after this batch. We'll see how it goes and how clean this batch is and how I feel afterwards. Because sometimes it sucks. How often do you source, and do you ever buy pallets? I've never bought a pallet before. I would love to buy a pallet, but all the pallets that I see always have like 90% Walmart shoes, and then it's like the other 10% is like all the good stuff. So I've never seen a pallet that's actually worth buying. Otherwise, I would. But I source pretty often. So like today, I'm not sourcing. Tomorrow, I'm going out. Wednesday, I'm going out. I'm not going to go out Thursday, and then I'll probably go out Friday. So last couple of months, last couple of weeks, I've had to start traveling a little bit more around my state to get enough stuff. So that's not fun, but sometimes you have to do it. And I will say, my job is could be a lot worse, right? I'm not even complaining about it, but I'm not going to complain about the fact that I have a job where I get to drive around and buy shoes every day. That's not fair to other people that actually have really hard jobs. This job, as much as I don't enjoy cleaning so much, it ain't that hard. It really isn't. Quiet time. Yeah, so my quiet time, so I will read the Bible in the morning. So I grew up Christian, still am Christian. But I try and read like the Bible for like 15 to 20 minutes in the morning just to reset my brain so that I am doing the right things in the morning. But yes, that is my quiet time. It helps reset my brain in the morning. I feel a lot more at peace throughout the day. So that has been helpful. Biggest thing for these shoes is I don't like, so I don't know how recent these came out. These came out in 22. Jordan started doing these like platform sneakers, and they're really frustrating because they will get scuffed like that because they're higher than what people will give. So like if you're going up a step, because they're so chunky, people scrape the like sides of the shoes, which really sucks. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that scuff out or not. And then this person, whoever it was, had 2 separate pairs of laces on these. So this might take a little bit longer to sell because they had a silver sparkly pair and a black pair of laces. I don't really even know how to show this. But like, yeah, that's pretty dumb. I don't know why you would change the laces out like that. All right, so you can see, I don't know if you can see that or not, but this has gotten really discolored. And I know that there's still technically like a full thing. When it's discolored like that, and it's like I've used both sides, I'll typically go get another one. I have a lot of them. I have probably a couple hundred sitting in here. So I don't mind using them. They're super cheap. So I like for like harder to clean stains and stuff like that. I like getting new ones out because then it's really easy to clean that midsole. So good. Yeah, I try not to talk about it often. I'm working on learning to say it a little bit more. Obviously, I want to honor other people's because they don't come here to talk about religion. So, yes, that is what I was talking about, Steve. I'm glad you like me. I try and be likable. See, you guys on Facebook are a lot nicer than the people I have to meet in the thrift stores. I get dirty looks all the time. I get people asking me what I do, and I have people yelling at me. Is it for a good cause? All that stuff. Y'all are much nicer. So I appreciate y'all hanging out. All right, those are done. I will say, so fun fact, I've actually sold this model a couple of times, not this exact colorway, but this model. And in a period of 3 months, I sold one for $80, I sold one for $60, and then I sold one for $40. So they went from being super popular to being not popular at all. So I think this colorway is good, or a little bit better of a colorway, I guess. But that's why I always say, like, don't just, if you see me pick up something, like, be careful, because sometimes, like, if you like watched a video of mine like a month ago or 2 months ago, the prices can change like overnight. Great example of that is like Wolf and Shepherd. That's a brand that I love picking up. It used to sell for over 100. They were awesome, and now I struggle to sell them for like 40 or 50 bucks. I know Brad and Wayne drive EVs. What do you drive? Oh, great question. I do too. So something really cool happened this week. So I had a Ford Escape for about 7 years. I was 15, so it was my first car that I bought, and I was really excited about it. I think I paid like 10 grand for it. It was 10 years ago, so I paid like 10 grand for it. I was super excited about it. I worked I was in just getting into high school, so I was 14 and a half, 15, and I started a lawn care company where I grew up. And I worked for 2 summers basically to afford this car. Bought the car, loved the car. It literally lasted until about 2 years ago. And then every single bit of it died. So the engine died, transmission died, literally all of it. I loved that car. The car was like a go-kart. It was really small, but I loved every second of it. So when I bought my car, when the car went kaput, I didn't know what I was gonna get. So I was between a Tesla, a Bronco, and what I have now. So I was between, and a Ford Mustang Mach-E. So I did a test drive of the Mach-E, and I didn't even do a test drive of the other ones. I loved that. That's what I got. So I got a Mustang Mach-E. I bought it brand new. In hindsight, should have bought it used. I could have gotten a better deal on it. One that had like 10,000 miles on it rather than buying it brand new. But I was the only person to drive the car. So that made me feel happy about that there was no underlying issues that people weren't saying anything about. So yeah, I've had that car for 2 years. Great thing about it was when I bought it new, it did not have the cash for it. That was an expensive car, and granted, very blessed to have it, but it was an expensive car. But yesterday, I'm gonna make a post about it later, but yesterday I've been saving. I paid my car off, which is great. So I was really excited about it. It was a lot of money to pay it off. It's the biggest purchase other than the house that I've bought. Like, obviously I bought my house, so that was a very big purchase, but this is the biggest purchase that I have ever done in one sitting. That wasn't the house. So lots of money down towards the car, but I was really excited about it. So my Mustang Mach-E is now officially mine and no longer Ford's, as of, 56 minutes ago, I guess, when the bank opened. So yeah, really excited about that. So to answer your question, very long-winded, I do. I drive a Mustang, 2023 Mustang Mach-E. So like I said, it was 2 years ago, so it was the brand new model for 2024. I love my car. The only thing I don't love about it is the fact that I have to find specific, charging stuff. But I can charge on Tesla ones. I just don't like taking up people's bay because I feel bad. But yeah, very long-winded thing. But I was really excited. I finally got to pay off my car. I had a 5-year loan on it with 0% interest. So I was really grinding hard to try and get all of that paid before the interest kicked in on year 6. And I got it paid off in less than a year and a half. So 5-year loan, year and a half done. Very excited about that. But now there are other things to take care of. So I'm excited about it, but no longer having a car payment is amazing. So yes, that was a very long-winded answer. But yeah, it's something I'm excited about. That was my big excitement for this weekend. What's the trick to be able to list so quick and so many 20 a day? I am so slow with Nifty. So I use the bulk generate, Bobby. So with the bulk generate, it basically generates half the list or 90% of the listing for me. I just go in and then do like little bits of changes. So I have AI do my listings for me, and I can do it in about 1.5 to 2 minutes, depending on how quickly I'm able to look up items. But like I said, a lot of the stuff I actually know what it sells for, so I don't even look up half the time on the comps. Unless it's a pair that I haven't seen or it's been a while since I've listed one like it, then I'll look up the comps. But most of the time, I know what I'm pricing stuff at, so I'm able to quickly list it. Whew. Good morning, Lori. Yeah, I got it. I did it a little bit later, so that way PST or Pacific people are able to watch. So you're welcome. Good morning. When I come back to Florida, can I bring all my shoes for you to clean? You can bring them so Wayne can clean them for you. I ain't cleaning shoes. I got too many shoes to clean for my own. Sorry, Faith. These are very nice pair of running shoes. These are, what are these? Nimbus 24s? 27s? Yeah, these are like the brand new model. I was actually very surprised that I saw these at the thrift store and in as good a condition as they were. They weren't like destroyed. So Ralph, yes, that was my very long-winded answer. Hopefully you actually heard what I said. But yeah, so I have a 2023 Ford Mustang Mach-E. I love it. The next car that I will get though will be for a while, because obviously I love using cars until they go kaput. So like I will drive that car until it tells me it's done. But I would like to get a Tesla next, I think, just for convenience of the charging situation. But I love my car. Yeah, that was something I was excited to make a post about today. I paid off my car. No more car loan for me. My dad laughed about it yesterday. He was like, now your car's going to drive better because it doesn't have a big old paycheck that comes with it every single day. And I laughed and I didn't actually think about that. And it's very true. Hello from Nashville. Hello, JD. Or is it JL? JI? Hello. Sorry, my eyes are really bad and I'm not wearing my glasses today. Thank you, Lori. I'm excited about it too. It's been something that I've been really wanting to get off my plate. And I don't have any school debt. I'm very grateful about that. I played college soccer, but I didn't have an athletic scholarship, but I had an academic scholarship. So my loans were basically, actually, I don't even have loans. So I never had loans to begin with. But the only debt that I've ever had was the house. And then when my car went out, then I had to get a car. Let me be very clear. I did not have to go get a new car. That was a decision that I made. But when I got it, I had a plan to get it done within the loan period. I didn't think I was gonna be able to do it in 2 years. I thought it was gonna take me all 5 before the interest was done. So I'm very excited, and that means that the business is doing well, because otherwise that wouldn't have been able to happen. What are you using besides Grandma's You Clean the Soles from New Jersey? Oh, everybody's saying where they're from. So I use, for the soles, primarily I'm using the sneaker cleaner. So the Grandma's sneaker cleaner. If there is a like a number or something, I'll use the acetone. I think I have it linked as well. But it's nail polish, remember. So that's what I'll use on like the bottom. If you see me using that on the bottom, is to get the number off the sole, Debbie. But it's a great question. There is nothing else that I use other than those two things. So if you see me using the acetone, it's literally just to get the number off. But typically I'll just use the thing. These are dirty on the bottom. Oh, here's my thing. I forget that I do lives and then I forget to bring water. Talking to yourself for an hour with no breaks is tricky. It's very tricky. So my voice hurts after an hour live. And that's my fault for not bringing water out here, but man alive. I forget because I don't usually talk to people in my job because I don't see anybody. But wow. My throat is hurting. All right. Difference? Clean? Not clean. Much better. Oh. I was wondering why that wasn't working. It was the wrong side. Next question. Faith says, now you take your car payment and put down the principal of your house. That is exactly what we're doing. That is what we're doing. Yeah, I think and I guess, again, beggars can't be choosers. And again, this is going to sound very like first world problem. But I told my parents, laughing at my parents, I was like, I wish that you thought about me like 2 years sooner. Because the difference between 2 years when we bought our house and like the interest payments, wow. 2% versus what we had, which when we originally bought it was 7.5%. Yeah, that would have been nice. I don't think like people knew that it was obviously people didn't know it was going to go to 7.5%. But man alive, like I wish that I got it when it was 2%. That is for sure. So yeah, that's the plan. Lydia wants the kitchen done. So primary goal is to get the kitchen done, and then it's all hands on deck for getting the house paid off. So hopefully we'll see what happens in the next couple years / months or whatever, but hopefully they have another interest drop. We can get it down again a little bit more reasonable. I would love that. I don't know if that will happen or not, but I would love to see it. I don't know how these Whatnot hosts talk for like 2 hours. It's because they train to do it. I kid you not. There's no way. Like, they have to be talkers, Ralph. They have to be talkers. Because there's no way that they sit there for 2 hours and are just fine. Like, obviously, Wayne's not watching this. He's still asleep. But Wayne is a talker. Outside of Whatnot, whenever I hang out with him, he talks a lot, which is fine. No issues with that. But he does. I do not. I'm very introverted. So talking for me is challenging as it is. Plus, talking to yourself. I will say Wayne does a very good job of like hydrating during his lives. I do not. So, but yeah, those people that sit on Whatnot every single day, they have a special talent. We used to call it the talent of the waffle. They talk a lot and are able to just waffle and talk to themselves. I'm not good at that. That's why I ask questions. Are you married? Yes, I am. We got married in July. Will be 4 years ago. Wayne and Brad are talkers for sure. Oh yeah. When Brad came down here and stayed, I just sat and watched them talk. I'm not even joking. The two of them can talk to a wall and make an interesting conversation out of it. I don't understand. They just talk. It is insane. I definitely need to look into those off-brand magic erasers. Well, guess what? I have them linked in my profile for you. They're so much cheaper, and I genuinely think, okay, so this is going to sound weird. I genuinely think the ones that I have linked, and I know this is going to sound promotional, they're better than the normal magic erasers. I kid you not, they're stronger than them, and they last longer. I know that sounds very promotional and like, oh, just buy the ones. Like, I kid you not, like, I have used both of them. These are definitely better. So after the photograph, you pull the shoe trees out. Correct. Yeah, so in the middle of the photos, so I'll do side on, front, this side, backs. Then I'll pull the shoe trees out. And then you'll be able to see the insoles, top of the shoes, side of the shoes, sole of the shoes, and then the size tag. That's how I take photos. But yes, they get pulled out after the fourth photo. So that way people have an idea of what they look like with the shoe trees in / with the shoes on, like if somebody's wearing them, and with them off as well, and what they look like standing up and stuff like that. I have dug very hard into research on that. So that's what's best for me. Obviously, some people have different ways of taking photos. This is the best way and the only way that I have done it for 3 years. So I have 10 photos that go into a listing for one pair of shoes. So 20 pairs of shoes, 10 listings each. I'm taking like 200 photos on a session, on a photo session. I think I caught up to the comments. We are 1 hour in. I will say, so now, granted, let me be very clear so that way y'all don't think, I'm not making fun of Brad by any means, but I have no idea how Brad stays on live for an hour and 45 minutes. I'm 1 hour in and I am exhausted. We've got more shoes to go. I think we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more pairs after this one. And then after that, it's done. We're done. Does your photography light box only have lights on top? Yes, but it makes perfect sense because you don't need lights in front of you. Because of where the lights are, you genuinely don't need to put any lights anywhere else. But yes, it is only on the top and top down. Do you clean the top of the shoes or do you just pick really clean shoes? No, so like if they have stains and stuff on the top of the shoes, I'll throw them in the wash if I can wash them. But yeah, I'll definitely pick up some stained ones. If everything else is fine, like if the tread's fine and it's just stained on the top, I don't mind throwing them in the wash. But like these sessions, like the last couple of sessions that I've done, a lot of stuff, I'm just doing a really good job of sourcing cleaner shoes. Because truthfully, I don't like cleaning all that much. I know it may seem like I love it, but I really don't like cleaning all that much. And so the easier my job is, the happier I am. So basically, my future self appreciates when I source well, if that makes sense. If the top or mesh of a shoe is dirty, how do you clean it? So I use there's a product in the link in the bio or in the page thing right now. It's called Shout Action Spray Gel. And instead of spraying like on the midsole, I'd spray this action gel on top of it, and then I'll put it into the washing machine. If it's like the mesh is dirty or something like that, that's what I would do. This is a pair of Yeezys, by the way, and they're my least favorite shoes to clean because of the ridge midsole or whatever. Getting into those spots is just impossible. And it's really frustrating. Also, I'm glad y'all can't see my face when I do this because I make weird faces when I clean. I'm kind of glad that y'all can't see my face. But as I've been doing this, upper's not top. Did you buy any of Wayne's Whatnot shoes? No. I did not. Not that they weren't a good deal, just that other people were wanting to buy them. Do you keep all physical receipts. Some stores use to only text receipts to you, store those electronically. No, so I don't even. So yes, the answer is yes. I keep all of my physical receipts, but I have a text. So the only store I have like 1 or 2 stores that does like text message ones, and they're all in the same text chain. So I just won't delete the text chain. And if I ever get audited, which I most likely won't, but if I ever did, I just go through all those text message chains and just pull all those receipts. Not that hard. Uppers, not tops. What? You need UV treatment and sole to revive those? Guess what I'm not doing? That. Somebody will buy those. I'm not listing them at that brand new price. But somebody will buy those. I am not doing UV treatment on that. That is, I think if you have to do that, and again, that can be your thing. But that needs to be like a batch of what you're doing for those. You need to be doing like 7 or 8 of those to make it worth even doing that. The time it would take to do that UV thing on that pair, it's like $10 more. And I don't think that that's worth it. So they come out okay in the washer because it takes me forever to clean them, and I have over 1,500 shoes listings. That works. I restore SBs professionally. Well, then, see, that makes sense for you. 100%. I do not restore SBs professionally. So if you have, I'm assuming that's either a business that you do or something, and you have people ship them to you, and then you clean them and then send them back. That's awesome. That is not my gig. I like the stuff that I find that like need that. I don't find it worth for the extra $15, $20 for one pair. For me, for one pair, it doesn't make sense. Now, I could spend the time and do that, and maybe it makes me $15 on that, but it's just not worth it. I'd rather just sell it. Like you were saying, some SBs are definitely worth doing that. Like, there are some shoes that, like, will sell for a lot more if they're not yellowed or they're not, and you can get them back to their original color. 100% agree with you. But there are most of the shoes that I'm finding, they aren't worth that. And even if they are, I'd rather sell it to somebody quickly. So say it's like, I don't know. We'll just use this example. These are not like anywhere near the thing, but good pair of Dunks, right? So what I would do is like, say these were yellowed or whatever. I'd sell it $20, $30 cheaper. Somebody restores them and then could sell them for another $70 more. That's fine. Not something I want to do though. I buy, restore, and use trade block to trade for newer pairs and sell on eBay. Hey, that's awesome. That's super cool. Yeah, if again, like you were saying, that is your gig, and that makes complete sense for you. But out of the time that it would take for me to do all of that, it ain't worth it. Not for me. But that's a great thing to, if people are just finding one-off shoes, that's definitely something to look out for, is the UV treatment and all of that stuff. There's a couple kits out there that I know that are out there. I don't have any because, like I said, don't do it. But I can definitely recommend some. Or I'm sure he's got a better system than I do. All right. Do you not clean all soles? Some you don't have to, but yes, I clean majority of them. All the stuff that I have to, I will. But sometimes, like those Birkenstocks that I was just cleaning, they didn't need cleaning at all. But again, like I said, my goal is to not make them perfect. My goal is to make them as good as possible. And sometimes you can do that, and sometimes you can't. But that is much better than that. So I'm not perfect, but I'm mediocrely okay at it. And like you said, there's people like him that do it professionally and are probably much better at cleaning than I am. But that is not my gig. All right. One pair done. We got 3 more left after this one. And I am so excited to get a water. Probably be about an hour and 15 minutes. It's the longest live stream I've done on Facebook and YouTube. So if you guys haven't already, please like the stream, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube. It only helps the channel. It only helps. It doesn't hurt you at all. It takes you 2 seconds. Helps me get put out to things. My listings are mostly shoes. I'm thinking about just doing shoes. Do you do well just shoes? And thank you for your info. Helps a lot. Yeah, so I only do shoes. I think that it is very dependent on where you live, how far you're willing to drive, and what you're hoping to make out of it, because shoes can be a lot more expensive than clothing. My buy cost versus Wayne's buy cost is astronomically different. Wayne's able to get stuff a lot cheaper than I am, but my average sale price is a lot higher than his. So we have that discussion all the time of like, oh yeah, I sold 15 items today. Wayne might have sold 30, but I'm still making more money on it because my average sale price is higher. So I love shoes just because I find it a lot easier than clothing. Storage probably is very different. Storage is probably a lot easier for clothing. But I just appreciate shoes more, I guess. That's my spiel. I struggle sometimes with shoes. Do you ever find shoes with a high resale, but the soles are worn out? I'm considering resolving. You can definitely resole. I have, so like 2 years ago, I found a pair of Gucci ostrich loafers that sold for like $750, pre-owned, but I bought them with like the worst sole, but close to, it's not super far, probably about 10 minutes from where the thrift store is. There's like a professional cobbler, and I got a quote from him to do like a resoling on them, and I think it was like $75 for a complete restore everything. He cleaned them and everything, which to me was definitely worth it. And then they ended up selling for like $600. So there are some shoes, like very luxury pairs, that I would consider reselling. Sneakers I've never done before, but like dress shoes and boots and stuff like that, I wouldn't say no to that. But sometimes reselling isn't worth it unless it's like super expensive, because hiring a cobbler to do that, and I may have gotten gypped by the cobbler that did it, but he did a really good job on it, so I don't think he did. So I don't know what the average cost of that is, but I feel like it has to be really worth doing, because I am not good at, I don't know how to resole stuff on sneakers. So this is another one of those pairs that they're yellow here. I think that they were supposed to be white at some point. But I'm not taking the time to UV treat these, because I can just sell them like this and they'll sell for a little bit less, and that's okay with me. Next question is, do you ever keep shoes you really like? I have a problem with that. So yes. I actually made a video about the pair of dress shoes that I kept for myself. Those Red Wing boots that I cleaned last week, I've been very tempted to keep those. I don't even wear boots, and they're just so nice. So if somebody offers me, I'll take them. I've actually, so I found a pair of Yeezys that were my size that I kept, and that is it. I've only kept like 1 or 2 pairs of shoes. Truthfully, I have to buy shoes brand new because of my knees. So if it's something that I don't have to like wear every day, so like those dress shoes, I don't mind that because it's not something I have to wear. But like all of my shoes that I have running or like anything like that, I have to buy them brand new because of my knees. So not really. Are you cleaning shoes again? Yes, Felix, I'm cleaning shoes again. That's what people ask for. Okay. You don't have to be mean about it, but yes, that is what I'm doing. Hope you're doing well, Felix. I haven't talked to you in a while. The Band of Brothers has not played Call of Duty in a long time. The Band of Brothers this is kind of like a wild group, but it makes sense. So it was me, Wayne, Bearded, Felix sometimes, sometimes Surfs, sometimes Dylan, We played Call of Duty a couple years ago, like almost every night for like a couple months. Felix would join sometimes when he was available because he's a busy man. But we used to play Call of Duty all the time. I do not play that much anymore. For my first eBay sale, I sold a pair of Lucchese boots and still had a cow poop on the bottom for 150 and got an excellent feedback. Yeah, because what they probably did was they probably cleaned that off and then they sold it. But like you said, they had cow poop on it, so you sold it for $150 with poop on the bottom of it. That sounds pretty good to me. I think I'm all caught up now. 75 is good. I paid around the same. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, I didn't even call around. I was kind of naive to it and didn't call around at all. I just was like, okay, it sounds fine to me. But he did a really good job on it. So it's something that I'd go back to that guy if I ever did it again. Holy crap, my voice is going. Yuck. All right, last pair. Last pair, and then we're done. So if you have any last minute questions, now is the time. And a good thing for y'all is these are dirty. So it's going to take me a minute. I love those Red Wings, but I wear 11. Yeah, I wear an 11.5. So those Red Wings are literally my size. Also, fun fact, being an 11.5 is the worst size on the planet. Do you know the amount of times that I've walked into like a brand new store and they're like, yeah, we don't have an 11.5. Like, how? It's not like it's like a 16. How do you not have an 11.5? Sorry, we don't have an 11.5. Whatever. 11.5 is the worst. Thank you for doing this. Happy to. Men's dress shoes, do you clean with leather cleaner? Do not clean with leather cleaner. The only thing that I use is this. That's what I use. It is linked in the Amazon storefront. All right, last pair. These are my least favorite to clean. I don't truthfully know why I picked them up this dirty. Did I get a good deal on them? Okay. Let's do this. Stop complaining. Just get it over with. All right, last question. And I know it's going to take a little bit before y'all hear me, so I'll wait a second. If you're going on a trip this year, I need to know, there's a couple of people in here. What's the most exciting trip that you're going to take this year? And we're going to judge whose trip is the most exciting. Not judge. That's not the right word. Vote. I am going to Europe in the fall. I'm very excited about it. We're going for my cousin's wedding. I get to see all my extended family that I don't normally get to see. So I'm very excited about that. But we're going to make it a big deal. So I think we're going to the wedding for like 2 or 3 days. I get to see my family and stuff like that. And then I am going with Lydia, and we're going to go explore Europe for about 2 weeks. Are your flat rate shipping tiers based on weight? How do you decide how much to charge? I do not do flat rate shipping. There's your answer. I do calculated. I know a lot of people do flat rate shipping, and I've heard that works. For me, calculated works because where I live. But I also offer I just try and make the shipping as cheap as possible, if that makes sense. But yes, I do calculated. Also, fun fact, I applied for eBay Live. So I know that there's probably not a ton of people on this live in particular that are going to buy from eBay Live from me. But if you are, I would appreciate that. But I'm going to try and do eBay Live if they accept me. Just because I would like to try that again, or try live again, and I love eBay, so I'd like to be on their platform. Our first family cruise, Disney Destiny in May. We won tickets on the radio. Shannon, that is amazing. That is so cool. Congratulations. That's so cool. I've always wanted to go on a Disney cruise. Lydia and I are like, we're not like weird Disney adults, but we enjoy Disney. So we might go in the summer. I might try and book us a trip in the summer. But that's amazing. Congratulations. That's freaking awesome. Debbie's going to Ireland in November. That's where I'm going. I'm going to Ireland at the end of October. That's our first stop. Key West fishing. Key West is pretty. Very pretty. Thank you so much. You changed my life. Well, it makes my cleaning easier. Happy to help. What did you just do with the shaver? Oh, I was just shaving off some of the fabric and stuff that was on that mesh that was popping off. Why can I not open this? Holy cow. I broke it. Guys, I broke it. There we go. All right. I think that's it. Oh, we got it here. We got a couple questions. To Florida, hopefully meet up with you and Wayne and source my favorite vacation sources and different. Nice. What kind of razor do you use? Me? Like skin razor or what? Steve, you're gonna have to explain that. Like, because if it's for my shaving razor, I'm looking for new ones. When you do Mike's questions, let's get back to reselling. When you get returns, how do you handle the shipping cost to the buyer paid? Does eBay force you to refund the original shipping and item cost? Great question. So I do I pay for returns. So I do not refund them their original shipping. I just refund them the item cost. I guess y'all can see me now. Hello. So I do the item cost. But if it's for something like it broke, it does something like when there's certain returns that you have to send them their shipping back, it is very dumb. But it's very far and few between that you have to do that. I love Down Under. I'd move to New Zealand. I have never been, and that's somewhere where we want to go. But I've heard that flight is horrendous. I've heard that flight is not fun. All right, so shoe razor. Oh, probably the shaver. Gotcha. It's literally, I think this is from Walmart. You can get them on Amazon too. I might even have this linked on Amazon. I thought you were asking what razor I use. I'm like, I don't know. Here is what we did progress today. So the first 1, 2, 3, I think. Yeah, these first 3 shelves we did in the beginning, and then these last 3 shelves. So that's 2 sets of 20. So take an hour and 22 minutes. So that's about pretty good. 40 minutes every 20 pairs is about average 2 minutes a pair. It's pretty good. Some, like we said, I was literally just wiping off the bottom of them and good to go. But I appreciate you all hanging out. Thank you guys so much for being here and dealing with me cleaning. I hope you enjoyed. Tomorrow, I might do a shipping live, but it will be early. So if you guys are on the West Coast, you're might gonna have to watch this later. But tomorrow I'm probably gonna try and do a shipping live early in the morning because I have to go and source. But it'll probably be around 7:15, 7:30, so very early for some people. And we'll do a packing live on that, and then probably won't have another live until Thursday, unless I get crazy and I do one really late at night on Wednesday. So hopefully y'all have enjoyed. I appreciate y'all hanging out. If you guys haven't already, like the video on YouTube and Facebook, and I will see you guys tomorrow.